Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle, and I am currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In the previous episode, I talked about Caitlin's reconnection post, and I only read the first portion of it. So in this video, I am going to talk about the second portion, which was continued by Brandon in her comment section. And I'm also going to talk about all the other things that was going through my mind or all the other things I saw that day too as well. So here it goes. Continued part. I pulled up and there he was. Lord, if only I could have taken a picture. I've never seen him look so nervous, but I'll be lying if I didn't say that first hug left me breathless. After taking time to talk alone, meeting little Lily was next. I cannot begin to explain that first moment. It was one only seen in movies. Lily ran outside as we pulled up, and I said, "Hi, baby. Brandon wants to meet you." He stepped out of the car, and she ran as fast as she could to him, jumped in his arms, squeezed his neck, and stayed in his arms for 10 plus minutes, all the while leaning back to look at his face, then squeeze his neck over and over again. When that weekend came to an end, all sitting on the couch together, half awake, Lily looked up at him and asked, "Are you my daddy?" The tears poured. There was never a moment that weekend that she didn't know. Despite me calling him Mommy's friend, Brandon, she knew, and she loved him deeply. Yes, the beginning stages were hard, really hard. We had so much to get through, so many questions, so many tears, so much fear, but nonetheless, so much love, a love that never left. Years stolen by fear and shame. My favorite verse in a song from church that replays in my head over and over is, "You will restore the years that shame has stolen." And my God has done just that. He has restored our family in ways I never thought possible. God never stopped moving. I love you, B. We love you. Since the last phone call, you have not once wavered. You have shown up and you have become the man and daddy I always knew you could be. And honestly, you're far better than I could have ever imagined or hoped for. God did so much work in you and in our family. You're now the most selfless man I know, the most caring, loving, kind, and helpful man and daddy. Thankful isn't even the word. You have changed Lily's story. She's now the little girl on the playground that wants to tell everyone who her daddy is, proudly pointing to you. We love you, B. I love our family forever. Okay, so my reaction to Brandon finishing up Caitlin's reconnection post, to be honest, it was giving Disney. It was giving DreamWorks. It was giving Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. To the point where I'm like, is this even believable? Like, I'm like, why is this caption so long and so dramatic? Right? Um, I was like, I don't know. I'm just so confused. I'm so confused because, like I said in previous episode, y'all, I really did not think that Brandon loved Caitlyn at all. I don't even think he thought much of her. Um, but there were pictures of them, y'all, and I'm gonna put the pictures up in the video. There were pictures of them. They spent the summer together. Actually, I found out they actually spent her birthday together. So I don't know if you remember from one of the episodes where Caitlyn went to Dallas for her birthday and she was with the mystery man. That mystery man was Brandon. So yeah, they were together for the summer. Now I did think it was interesting that Caitlyn said in her post that her and Brandon reconnected June 10th because the most unplanned phone call happened. So I'm thinking to myself, June 10th up until February, that's 8 months. Why did they wait 8 months to go public with their relationship? uh, something was telling me that the reason why they waited that long was because Brandon didn't want to go public. But anyways, that's a discussion for some other time. But yeah, I'm just being in my room at this time, just wondering what is going on because I know what I heard from God. I know God told me, God revealed to me that Brandon is my spouse. How is he going to be my spouse if he's in a different state? He's with Caitlyn and he's talking about how he wants to marry Caitlyn. So I don't know if I mentioned this in previous episode, but when I was in the bathroom, y'all, I told myself that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create this ultimatum for myself. I said to myself, if Brandon and Caitlyn get married, I am going to forget completely about Brandon. Not only am I going to forget about Brandon, I'm also going to go to God and apologize to God for saying that he revealed Brandon to me as my spouse and I was going to move on from Brandon. But until then, y'all, I honestly believed what God revealed to me. I believed that God revealed to me that Brandon was my spouse. That whole reconnection post really threw me off guard, y'all. So that was what I said to myself when I was in the bathroom. Now, being in my bedroom, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know what to do. Now I'm looking at the comment section, everybody's saying, oh, God is so good for bringing you guys back together. You guys are meant to be. I'm so happy. Oh my goodness, I've been following your love story since 2016, and I'm so glad that God brought you back together. You guys are soulmates. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, I don't even know what to think. Now, as I'm looking at, stuff on social media concerning Brandon and Caitlyn, they're posting new stories from that day. And it's basically stories of, them being together, pictures, videos. And y'all, there was one particular video that I saw at the end. That was like the last video I saw concerning my research of Brandon and Caitlyn. It was an IG story on, I believe, on Caitlyn's page, where Brandon was putting Caitlyn's shoes on for her, and he was kind of like struggling. And then Lily was like, "Let me help you. Let me help you." Right? But as he's doing it, he's struggling, and Caitlyn is just recording him as he's doing it, and she's saying, "Give me a kiss, kissy, kissy, kissy. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss." So she jumps on him so that they can kiss each other, right? Now that is like a normal IG story, right? A normal video. But here's the thing, y'all. When I saw that video, I remember just telling myself, like, yo, this is gonna end bad for Brandon. This is going to end bad. This entire reconnection is gonna blow up in his face. That's exactly what I was telling myself, y'all. I said this reconnection that Brandon has with Caitlyn is gonna end bad, it's gonna blow up in his face, and he's gonna regret it. I don't know. Something about that story just made me believe that it was just gonna end bad and he was going to regret it. Now, later on in the story, y'all, I was proven right. And we're going to talk about it. But at that moment, I was like, yeah, this is going to end bad. This is going to blow up in his face and he's going to regret it. And he's going to regret going public as well. Another thing that was interesting that happened during like my last couple of minutes of checking on them was in my head, I'm just thinking about Caitlyn's story, how it's very deceptive. I felt like Caitlyn's story really confirmed to me that she was a Jezebel. And I'm like, okay, if she's a Jezebel, she's really going to ruin his life, right? So in my head, I'm like, I need to pray for him. Previously, before in the past, before 2021, I would actually pray for Caitlyn and Lily. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. No, I do wish her the best, but no, God revealed to me that Brandon is my spouse, so I'm going to focus on Brandon. I do wish Caitlyn the best, but I am no longer going to pray for her. I need to pray for Brandon because he is in the lion's den and he doesn't even know it. He is in trouble and he doesn't even know it. He has basically gone to the devil's camp and he doesn't even know it. So I need to focus my energy on and my time on praying for Brandon because I'm like, this guy has no clue what is going on. And I remember telling myself, like, okay, Adriel, can you really blame him? Because what if his purpose of getting back with Caitlyn is to right his wrongs? You know, because you got to remember, y'all, he left back in 2017. People were on him for leaving Caitlyn. But here's the thing that I kind of thought was iffy was even though people were on him for leaving Caitlyn, those people did not know Caitlyn. They didn't know that Caitlyn was sleeping with Nami. They didn't know Caitlyn was, doing a lot of stuff. Like, to be honest, the people on Instagram and Brandon's parents and Brandon's family and friends, they did not know Caitlyn. So how can you let them, you know, talk you into being with Caitlyn when they don't even know her? So I felt like he felt so much pressure to get back with Caitlyn and to do what's right. So that was the reason why he reconnected with her. So I remember thinking to myself, like, man, can I really blame him for that, for trying to right his wrongs? But I remember thinking, like, no, there's a way to right your wrongs if you're truly wrong. If he's not wrong, why is he getting back with her? If it's not his child, take a paternity test. The paternity test is going to confirm that he's not the father. So, like, why is this thing being so trivial? That's what I was wondering. That's one. And two, I really could not believe that Brandon got back with Caitlyn. Like, I was astonished. Like, what? This girl has shown up behind. Like, no, she is not it. Brandon. I'm like, oh my goodness, man. This is not. And this leads me to what I was thinking when I was in my room. I remember saying to myself that because Brandon got back with Caitlyn, because he decided to dismiss her red flags, because he decided to make a decision that was not wise, I said to myself, I do not trust Brandon's decision making skills at all. And because I do not trust his decision making skills, I do not trust him to lead me. No. I was like, no. Mm-mm. He's gonna lead me and he's making choices like this? No, no way. I'm afraid to put my life in his hands. Cause what if he leads me to a ditch? I was like, I don't think I can do this. So thoughts of I don't think I can be comfortable of like, yeah, I how can he be my husband? How can he lead me if he's making choices like this? I'm like, I'm afraid. I'm really afraid of what he would do to my life if he was to lead me. And then I started having thoughts of, Lord, I can't do this. If I don't care what happens, like if it's a situation where they break up in the next 2 months and he comes back to Atlanta, I was like, I can't do this. I do not trust him. I do not trust him at all. Kind of got emotional right there. And the reason why I did get emotional, y'all, is just that so much has happened ever since that point when it came to Brandon and Caitlyn that, to be honest, y'all, I can't wait to just share with y'all all the things I found out about that relationship because it really caused a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. It just caused a lot of chaos in my life. And just talking about him and talking about her and just thinking about that time, it just, it just, it's just getting to me emotionally. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't trust him. Mm-mm. I was like, I don't trust him. Another thing I was thinking about at this time was thinking about Caitlyn. I knew she wasn't the one. I knew her character just like her character was not there. Well, she actually had a character, but her character was bad, right? So I'm like, yeah, Caitlyn's on it. Her character is bad. Um, why do I feel like Caitlyn is a counterfeit? And when I talk about counterfeit, I'm talking about it in terms of relationship. So, a counterfeit relationship or a counterfeit partner is someone who is not the person that God has for you. So, they look like the real thing, like they look like, or they may act like, or they may sound like the person that God has for you, or the person that you believe you should be with, but they're not it. It's just like a counterfeit $20 bill or a counterfeit $100 bill, right? That counterfeit $20 bill looks exactly like the real $20 bill. But once that cashier puts that $20 bill in the air to see if it's real, or they put that marker, then they know if it's real or not. So when it comes to a counterfeit relationship, a lot of times that person may look like who you think you should be with, looks wise, character wise, even you guys may have the same interests. But once you get with them and you really see, oh no, this person is not who I thought they were. I thought they were this way, but they're really that way. And a lot of times the counterfeit partner tends to pop up right before the real one pops up. So I did think it was interesting that Brandon and I were 4 minutes away. It seemed like we were getting closer. Caitlin shows up, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, the counterfeit popped up before the real one. And also, too, when it comes to counterfeits, y'all, they are sent by the devil. They are sent by the devil to distract you from your purpose, to draw you away from God, and possibly to destroy you. Okay? So I remember just thinking, yo, I feel like Caitlyn is a counterfeit. So I went on YouTube. There's this Christian influencer, Christian YouTuber who I was started watching from back in 2017. He had a video that says 10 signs are a counterfeit. So I watched it. Y'all, tell me why 9 out of that 10 signs was related to Caitlyn. And I'm like, yeah, I know she's a counterfeit. So I said, okay, um, I've gotten that piece of knowing that she's a counterfeit and I'm still who God wants for Brandon. But he's in a whole different state. He has publicly said he's going to marry her. A lot of times when people say things publicly, they're going to try to back it up. um, I'm just like, okay, what is going on, Father? So that day was February 16th. The next day was February 17th, which was the first day of Lent, I believe. Yeah. So I said, you know what? I am just going to get off of social media entirely. I'm not going to peek at anything and I'm going to observe Lent. Also, I did think about it really hard that, you know what, it probably is a good thing that Brandon got back with Caitlyn and is living with her in Oklahoma. Because I remember thinking to myself, this entire time that Brandon and Caitlyn were together, 2016, 2017, and summer 2020 when they reconnected, everything has been long distance. So for him to move to Oklahoma and live with her in the townhouse, yeah, he gets to really see her. He gets to really see what she's about, and eventually he's gonna be annoyed, and he's gonna like, yeah, I didn't make the right choice. Let me leave. That was one. Also, two, yeah, I really could not understand how or why Brandon reconnected with Caitlyn, even though I told y'all that I believe maybe he tried to right his wrongs. But I'm like, okay, God, is this a setup? Is Brandon setting Caitlyn up? Because you remember, y'all, Caitlyn embarrassed him back in 2017, 2018. She utilized every opportunity to talk about him and talk bad about him. She said he was an abuser. Why are you getting back with your abuser? Anyways, I'm like, maybe this is a setup. What if Brandon is setting Caitlyn up? Like, okay, you're gonna embarrass me on the internet? Okay, I got one for you. I got one for you. It could be a thing that they go public and he leaves her a single mom again, even though he's not the father. So I'm like, maybe that's the reason why he reconnected with her, y'all. I'm just thinking of reasons of why he would get back with Caitlyn. To be honest, looking back at that time, it really didn't matter about the reasons. I would say for me, it didn't matter because at the end of the day, y'all, Brandon made his choice, right? He made his choice to get back with Caitlyn. Um, and then later on, I actually find out why those choices were made and what was really going on with Brandon and Caitlyn's reconnection and stuff that happened with them while he was living with her in Oklahoma. So that's pretty much my whole thoughts of the reconnection post. I remember feeling sad, feeling defeated as well, because it was like a part of me feeling like the enemy won, like the devil won. Because I know the devil was trying to use Caitlyn to destroy Brandon's life, but this thought of, yo, the devil is winning was, creeping in my mind. Um, but I remember feeling sad. And me feeling sad, I remember something that Amber told me one time. Amber's from, previous season of An Unlikely Story. Me and her went to Georgia State together. I remember her telling me that when she was finishing up her program, she wrote her thesis. And during that time, um, it was a lot for her. It was a lot for her writing her thesis, to the point where, like, there were days that she wanted to cry, but she couldn't. And I remember her telling me that. I'm like, what do you mean you couldn't cry? She was like, I was so tired that I just couldn't cry. And I didn't understand what Amber was talking about until February 16, y'all. I was so sad, so feeling defeated, y'all. I couldn't cry. I could not cry because I was so exhausted. Exhausted from my dad's passing, exhausted from what I saw on Instagram with Brandon and Caitlyn. I just couldn't cry. I did not have the energy to cry at all. But I will say that 3 nights after that, meaning the night of the 16, 17, 18, y'all, I had trouble sleeping. I had trouble sleeping. I felt like things were just crumbling. And yeah, so, yeah, that's the end of the Reconnection Post saga. And next episode, I am going to talk about the rest of February. And then I'm going to talk about March. Okay, y'all. So, for the month of March, I'm introducing 2 new characters. These characters are crazy. They are crazy. But later on, I find out that they play their own special part in the likely story. So if you are liking an unlikely story, please comment, like, subscribe, share, and also please click the notification bell as well. And until next time, bye.
Let's get it. Oh, too quick. Okay, 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 okay.
This is my best friend. We do cool handshakes together.
I feel like this is like a little TikTok or something.